Hi, welcome back. This is my first project journal for a project called Penguin. The pattern is called Penguin by Claire Garland, and she has lots of patterns on Ravelry for cute little stuffy animals. It's going to be a gift, so I wanted to use the suggested yarn. Drops Sky in black and white. It is 74% alpaca, 18% polyamide, and 8% wool. It's a chain plied yarn that's super duper soft. The next is Drops Kid Mohair, which is 75% mohair, 25% silk in the colorway Curry. And then there is Drops Alpaca, which is 100% alpaca in the colorway Orange. And the final one was Drops Puna in the black colorway, which is 100% alpaca as well. These are all 50-gram balls. I modified the pattern so that it looked like Big Z from the Surf's Up movie. So I added some overstitch flowers on the chest, and then I used some of the Puna as the hair on the top and just took the plies apart so it made that fun, funky hair. I also overstuffed him just a little bit to give him that Big Z look. So this is him all stitched up. He does still need eyes. I'm going to felt those in with a felting needle. I stuffed him with some wool roving that I had in my spinning stash, and he doesn't stand up quite right. I did follow the recommendation to attach his tail to the back of his legs, but he still doesn't stand up quite right. So I'm also going to felt his flippers a little bit. And then here on his cheek, some of the stitches of the mohair stretched a little bit, and you can see the stuffing. It's not as prominent on this side, but you can definitely see it on the other side, so I think I'm going to felt that as well. But he's super cute. I am not a felter, but luckily my little sister is, and she had a block and some needles that she let me use, so I felted the top of his feet first and then flipped him over and felted the bottom of the feet, and it seemed to work out pretty good. He actually stands up a lot better with his feet felted. For his eyes, I used a little bit of alpaca fiber that I had in my spinning stash and began by felting some little whites of his eyes, and then I'll add some of the black alpaca for the pupil of the eye. This was really finicky work, but I think they turned out okay. Once the eyes were completed, then I needed to attach them to the stuffy itself. So I very carefully held the eyes in place and felted around them to adhere them through a felting process onto the stuffy itself. I didn't want to add any glue or anything. I thought felting was probably the best way to do this. Hello, I hope you enjoyed the video of my very first project. This is my first project journal, and the first one of 2022, the first of many, as you can see up here, all the whips. So this project was a promise that I made to a co-worker before we went into lockdown. He wanted a stuffed animal stuffy of Big Z from Surf's Up. So I looked everywhere for a pattern, crochet or knit, that I could make, and I was not able to find anything specific to Big Z, but I did find this cute penguin pattern and modified it, as I showed you, to look like Big Z from the Surf's Up movie. So I do have my very first project journal entry. I am so excited. I'm not a big record keeper, so this is really new for me, and I'm really hoping to keep it going. So once again, the pattern is Penguin by Claire Garland. I started the pattern on December 31st, finished it on January 2nd, with the exception of the felting, which I just completed today. I used a US 5 and a US 4, or 3.75 millimeter and 3.5 millimeter needle. There wasn't a gauge provided on the pattern. I think there was on the Ravelry page, but there wasn't in the pattern itself. So the only revisions I made was the modification to make it look like Big Z. And there was one place in the pattern where it was a little fiddly to, it's figure 5 of the pattern if you purchase the pattern. It was a little cumbersome and fiddly to knit in the direction that she indicated, so I reversed the direction and it made it a little bit easier to fit everything on the needle. So these are made on straight needles. I mean, you could use the circular or what have you if you wanted to. I did have straight needles, so I just used those. My straight needles are quite long, probably that long. For the US size 5, my 4s were quite a bit smaller. I would recommend using a shorter needle if you have it, because he's a very small stuffy. Other than that, I really didn't make any other modifications. So let's see how he looks. He is super cute. I think his eyes turned out pretty good. They're big googly eyes, just like Big Z has. So I just overstitched the flowers here on his chest. Everything else I followed exactly to pattern. I overstuffed him, did a little more stuffing than was required in the pattern. And then I felted the eyes. She did recommend felting the entire stuffy. But because he is actually stuffed with wool instead of like polyester or toy stuffing, I didn't want to take the chance of like wet felting him, throwing him in the washer and what have you. So I didn't wet block him. I just felted the feet with a needle to give them a little more structure and make him stand up a little better. So he stands up nicely. He's got the fun, funky hair, and I love him. So when I go back to the office on February 1st, he will be given to his owner. And I think he's super cute. So I hope you enjoyed the first project journal. I do have another project that is almost completed, so there'll be another project journal very soon. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, and I'd love for you to subscribe if you're new to the channel. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.